Hi guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. I've just made a cup of tea, and what should I do with the tea bag? Today's video is going to be a comparison on tea bags of various brands in my worm farm for a couple of reasons. What we really want to see, well, the one main reason is we really want to see if the worms eat the tea bags, and the tea bags themselves, whether they are biodegradable, whether they'll rot down in your compost bin, whether the worms will eat them or not. Now, anyone that's interested in zero waste is going to find this good information, and anyone that's got a worm farm that wants to consume waste will need to know this. I've read that some tea bag manufacturers use fine plastics in the bags, which of course is not going to be friendly to the environment. So this comparison test, I'm not afraid of naming and shaming. We're going to compare the major brands that we buy here in Australia, or at least I do in my area here, and just see which brands have nice biodegradable tea bags that the worms will consume and we won't have any nasty waste. So what I have here, will quickly scan along. The Black and Gold brand, which is a supermarket brand, it's a normal tea. The Diplomat one, English breakfast tea, I believe the Diplomat is actually an Aldi brand. Then of course Bushells, well-known tea. Dilmah, quite a popular one. Tetley is the tea of my choice at the moment. Lipton's also a nice tea. And then this green tea, I've included this because a lot of people drink their green tea. This is actually Lipton's as well. And then we have three different Twinings teas, a Lady Grey, an Earl Grey and a Peppermint. I would imagine that the same companies use the same type of bags, so any differences in the results of those ones might purely be because of the actual tea. Some of them, I note, also use metal staples, which obviously won't be biodegradable, and they also use metal staples on the tag. The strings I would assume would all be the same, but we'll see how the test pans out. So what I'll do is I'll cut the tags off. I won't actually leave the tags in, purely because I'll need to make a bit of a chart so that I know which is which when they're starting to break down. And I would imagine all the tags are actually paper, so that shouldn't be a problem. Alright, well, I'll dunk them all in some boiling water to simulate actual use. We won't be putting anything in like milk or perhaps lime juice or anything that you may add with to your tea, just so that we've got an even test. So they'll all be just dunked in hot water, jiggled a couple of times because that's what you do with tea bags, and then I'll line them out in a section of my garden where I know there's some worms and they're eager to eat something. So here's a suitable testing station. This little garden bed recently had a trial on rhubarb leaves, of all things. So if you'd like to have a look at that, I'll put a link up the top. But it was a very successful trial, and there's just a skerrick of leaves left there, and as you can see, there's plenty of worms in here just waiting for their next food experiment. So now I'll spread the tea bags out, and I'll show you how they are just before we put the carpet back over, and we'll leave them for a week or so and check in. And here's the tea bags laid out in the worm infested garden bed. You can see I've cut the tags off and I've sticky taped them onto a piece of cardboard so that I've got a good record of which bag is which. So now all I need to do is I'll take this cardboard away so that it's going to survive, and I'll put I'll put the carpet over the top of these tea bags, keep them damp as I do with all my tests, and as I mentioned, we'll come back and check them in a week or two and just see what's going on. Okay guys, it's actually been about 8 weeks since we put these tea bags down for a test. I haven't worried about getting back to this earlier because I've been busy, and it's really not a test on speed, it's just to see which tea bag survives and which doesn't. So we'll try and set up this key here so that we can see where we're at. and we'll work along from this end. Now, as I said, it's been 8 weeks, so you would expect that anything that was edible would be pretty well gone by now. And this black and gold tea bag here, I can actually still pick up with my fingers. So I haven't read anything about the brands to know for sure. I know I've seen people publish lists about which companies use which, or whether they use plastic, but I would not be putting these black and gold tea bags in my worm farm because, or my compost, because that looks like to me definite plastic fibres. The fact that it's still pretty much complete. There is a worm there, and it feels like most of the tea's still in there, so maybe they had trouble accessing it, or they simply didn't like that tea. The next one's the oldie one, and that's pretty much all gone except for a little bit. Now that looks like paper, so I think that one's probably okay. This has dried out, this spot. I've been away and I've been pretty busy, so even though it's been 8 weeks, there's probably a few days here and there where it got warm and the worms didn't get up here because it was just purely too dry. Now this bushels one, the tea's gone, but the bag's still mostly there, so I'd be a bit sus on that one as well. So bushels may contain a plastic. The Dilmar, the bag's pretty much mostly there, so I'd put that in the suspect pile as well. What do we have next? Tetley. Now the Tetley one, from all I can see, is totally gone. No sign at all. So I'd say Tetley's a good one. The tea's gone, the bag's gone, the string's gone. Incidentally, the strings have gone on all of them, so that's good. So Tetley is a good tick, and as I said in the first part of this video, that's the tea of my choice, so I'll be sticking with that one. Next we have Lipton's, which appears to be gone as well. I'll just have a bit of a scratch. Nothing there at all, so Lipton's is fine. Now the next one was green tea, and I think if I remember rightly that was a Lipton's as well. It does look to be most of the bag still there, so that's interesting. So perhaps different manufacturing plant, who knows these days. Lipton's may even subcontract that one out and just put their own name on it, but it's definitely a different bag because we have a complete bag there and nothing there. So you'd want to be careful with Lipton's products, I'd say, but certainly the black tea appears to tick the box. Now the Twinings ones, that's all we have left. We had Lady Grey, Earl Grey and the peppermint, and I can't see any evidence of those ones. A bit of a scratch. Nothing left at all. So Twinings teas are good. Lipton's black tea was fine. Tetley was fine. But all the others I'd be a bit suspect about. So there you go, make your own notes. But from what I can see there, some tea companies are doing the right thing and having a good compostable bag which the worms will eat. And others, well, there's a worm trying to get in there, so perhaps he's eating the leaves, but that bag clearly is not environmentally friendly. So there we go, that's my take on tea bags. I've named and shamed and named and praised. I hope you got something out of that. I'm going for a cup of tea. Bye.